Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Podium Picks. Sean Woodland and Tommy Marquez here with you inside the Working Against Gravity studios. And Tommy, Working Against Gravity is always on top of our podium when it comes to nutrition coaching.
No doubt, Sean. And here's why. You sign up for Working Against Gravity, not only do you get your very own personal nutrition coach, that's just the start of it. You get a 100% customized nutrition plan, formal check-ins with your coach each week to go over progress, make adjustments. You get unlimited messaging as well with your coach to kind of refine some things and check in if you need to. Education strategies, ideas to help you work through challenges and obstacles. They have their very own online tracking platform called Seismic that automatically links to MyFitnessPal. So if you're already using that to track your macros, no worry, you don't need to change a thing. They have thousands of hours of research that they place at your fingertips that they're doing to constantly refine their approach and help give you the best service possible. And they also get access to their supportive members-only Facebook group to talk with other members of Team WAG or who are on the wagon.
Ooh, that's nice.
Little dad joke right there.
Well
just
played.
to have a support group as well to kind of discuss strategies, best things. You know, as we know from our endeavors in fitness, having a support system of a group to be involved with certainly makes some dividends. All of that is included. It's something that I've employed for the last 3 to 4 years just to kind of help me dial in some things here and there because I do like, as one of our users pointed out, I do enjoy some wobbly pops and some desserts at times, but more often than not, you know, try to build those sustainable nutrition habits, and WAG has certainly done that, and they can do that for you as well. If you go to workingagainstgravity.com, you scroll down to their personal nutrition coaching, click that button that says Get a Coach, sign up to be on WAG's team, and you can use the code ELITE50 at checkout to get $50 off your first month. It's phenomenal. We can't say enough good things about it, and we're super stoked to have them.
Yeah, love having WAG on board. So today's Podium Picks, Tommy, we are going back into the pop culture world. We had a CrossFit competition to talk about last time, so we were in the CrossFit world there. We are going to be talking about our dream cars today. Our top dream cars can be from anywhere, anytime, just cars that we've always wanted to own. So this is going to be pretty good. So I'm looking forward to getting into this. But before we do that, each week on the show, we've been running down our podium for our Whoop group, whether it's last week we did sleep, I think. We've done recovery. So today we are doing, what are we doing? Resting heart rate.
Yeah, today we're going to do the top 10 for the month of October as far as resting heart rate goes for our Talking Elite fitness group. If you don't know how to access that and you want to follow along, go to your menu, click Talking Elite Fitness. It'll bring up the team. You swipe once to the left to get to recovery. You click the little, like I call it like a bugle. It looks like a little bugle. You switch over to resting heart rate for the month. You hit apply, and these are our top 10 Talking Elite Fitness resting heart raters. Does that work?
That works.
Yeah. Number 1, Jeremy Lundstrom, resting heart rate 30. Kyle Moline, 34. Candice Gregory, 35. Chelsea Stinson, 36. Christopher Sutton, 36. Richie Carey, 36. Johan Henningsen, 37. Scott Tasaka, 37. Shelly White, 38. And Nick Patullo, 38. Those are our top as far as resting heart rate. Remember, you want that nice and low. It's a good indicator of how good you are, your heart at like calming down and getting that low energy environment to maximize recovery and not necessarily have that heart rate pumping like you're at a EDM concert 24/7. So congrats to all of our top 10. You guys are killing it. Share with us maybe some secrets for you guys to get that resting heart rate down, because mine's at 53. Not bad, but could use some improvement.
Okay, that's impressive. We had a lot of fun putting this one together, as always, and we were, before we even just started recording here, we were still working on our lists. I made a couple of late additions. I made one late switch. I know you were having fun with yours. I think. Yeah. Did you start the last time? I think it's my turn to kick off here, right?
Yeah, I started last time.
Okay, so I will kick off. So these are dream cars. We're going to start with Spirit of the Games and my dark horse. So I'll go with the Spirit of the Games. The Spirit of the Games, it's kind of general because there are a lot of different iterations of this particular vehicle, and that is the Batmobile. Everyone wants a Batmobile. You can pick the old, Burt Ward, Adam West version. That's cool. You can pick the Michael Keaton version. You could pick the Christopher Nolan version. That would be the one I picked. Yeah. You could pick the animated version. You can pick there were a bunch of different ones in the old Batman movies from the 80s and 90s, which a couple of which were just absolutely terrible. But you could pick those too. But any Batmobile, I think, would be cool. And I like the old one, the old school one from way back in the day in the 60s, the TV show with Adam West and Burt Ward. That's a cool car.
Adam West.
Drive around town in that thing. But the Tumbler, I think, that would be the one if I had to pick one of the Batmobiles. That thing was what I loved about that movie. And I saw an interview with Christopher Nolan about this. Is that they wanted to make it to where it looked like any of this stuff could be in reality. It wasn't sort of that comic book theme that you saw in the Michael Keaton movies. It looked real, and you could imagine someone saying, "Oh, this is a military tank that we never made. It was a bridge jumper that we never made." So that makes sense, and it looked like it.
Yeah.
So, and also, I just want that motorcycle that shoots out the front.
That's amazing, right?
The pod, the bat pod, right? Yeah. So that's my spirit of the games, and I feel like every kid at some point in his or her life would be like, yeah, dude, I want to drive the Batmobile. Like, who hasn't wanted to drive the Batmobile?
You know what's funny? I feel like that's a direct product of that Tumbler RC car that you used to have that had the rotating wheels.
I remember that.
So if it turned on its side, you could just keep it rolling and then keep going. I always wanted one of those, but man, I feel like that was like let me pull from my childhood for that.
So Batmobile is my spirit of the games. My dark horse, now this is the one that I changed last minute. And Tommy, this car has a cop motor, a 440 cubic inch plant. It's got cop tires, cop suspension, cop shocks. It's a model made before catalytic converters, so it'll run good on regular gas. It's the Bluesmobile.
Oh.
Jake and Elwood Blues, the Bluesmobile. And you can even strap that speaker on the top because that's kind of what gave the car some character.
Yep.
And I drive around town, you on the motorcycle, you two girls. The Blues Brothers Rhythm and Blues Review, tonight only. Yeah, so that car went through everything. Like, it got shot at, it got, crashed, it got, you name it, and it still ran. It drove through a mall.
Oh, yeah.
They had a car chase in a mall. New Oldsmobiles were in early this year. This place has got everything. So, I mean, you want to talk about just a good old reliable automobile that can take a licking and keep on ticking. The Bluesmobile. So that's my dark horse. And that might not be the most stylish, good-looking car, but like the Millennium Falcon might not look like much, but she's got it where it counts.
Yeah, that's interesting. You and I kind of went in different directions. So
okay.
You added a little bit more fantasy, I guess, into it a little bit more. Yeah. Not that mine didn't have any, but yes, I know where you're going here. So my first, mine's a little all over the place. I'll admit, some people are going to be scratching their heads, but I start strong. My spirit of the games is a 1966 Shelby Mustang GT350.
Yes.
So, and they had this, oh my God, it was like this sky blue, like pearled sky blue back in the day. This was the first car as a kid that I noticed and I went, oh.
That's cool.
Yeah. Guys like dudes like cars. Like that kind of just, caveman brain-esque type stuff. And it was funny because it was very close. A standard 1966 Mustang Fastback was almost, and my parents might dispute this, there was an outside chance that it could have been my first car.
Oh, I thought you were going to go a different direction with that. Okay.
So there was a that would have been
awesome.
There was a 66 Mustang Fastback that was for sale in our Los Olivos neighborhood, couple maybe a mile away. And it was driving around for a while, and I want to say I still remember the price tag was $4,400.
Oh man!
And I was like, Mom and Dad, I don't want to expect anything. I don't want to be excited, but I would love this car. And my parents, very wisely, and I credit them 100, did not make sure that I somehow obtained that car for my first car.
That would have been. That would have been dangerous all around.
Old T-Bone Marquez wouldn't have been around very long after that purchase. So instead, they did the responsible choice, and we got a used Pontiac Grand Am.
There you go.
Stick shift.
Okay.
So, but that was the first car that I saw. I saw the Fastback, and then I went and looked it up, and I saw what's the best version of this car, and was like, oh, smitten. That was That's a good choice. Yeah. My dark horse, and this one's going to leave some people scratching their heads, is a Winnebago Class A
Ooh.
Horizon 2020, fully decked out.
I love it.
You can spend your $200,000 on a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, but give me $500,000 and a Winnebago stock room for me to pick one of my dark horse picks
because you're basically buying a house at that point.
Exactly. And I lived the RV life
Yes,
for my buddy's 30th birthday, and after that, I will never forget. We were sitting there. For anyone that hasn't heard this, we went on a baseball road trip through the Midwest for my best friend Craig from growing up, his 30th birthday. He was the first one in our group of friends to turn 30, and his birthday is also 4th of July, so he always had to share his birthday. We went on a baseball road trip that ended at the All-Star game in Cincinnati a few years ago. And we basically went all around the Midwest in an RV, like 9 dudes in an RV. We went to Cleveland, we went to Pittsburgh.
I remember this.
Yeah, we went to Canton, we went to the NFL Hall of Fame. We did all sorts of stuff. We had a friend started in Minneapolis, went to Chicago, all over the place. And I remember at one point we're sitting around in the RV, and we were parked underneath a bridge in Pittsburgh because it's the only free place to park, and
Yeah.
It was right next to a casino on the river underneath the bridge.
That's dangerous.
Oh, man. And my friend just kind of thought about it and nodded his head and looked around and goes, we're RV people now. and so we had a rule, if you're driving down the road and you see another RV guy, you have to put your hand out and wave to him.
Is there a sign for RV people, motorcycles? It's they do the two fingers or what it is on the...
I don't know. I just put my hand up and said, hey, Mike. Just because I assumed that guy... Or
probably. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
And, so ever since then, I'm I want a really nice one just so me and my friends and people can just go on a fun trip like that.
I like it.
Yeah.
You know what? I like the fact that you went with practicality and fun over that looks cool. Although you could make that thing look pretty cool.
You could.
Yeah.
I mean, you got. I'd probably pay someone to give it a cool custom job because you got a lot of canvas there.
You do. Maybe one of those old 70s, the wolf that's on the
yeah.
howling at the moon on the side that they put on the vans and stuff.
Oh yeah,
that'd be outstanding. So I like that. I like the fact that you went a little personal flair with that. So just to warn you, all mine are for movies and pop.
Yeah.
So there you go. So now we get to my podium. So third place for me, and I had to think about this, and the more I thought about it, the more it became. I thought it would be closer to second, but then I started looking it up, and I said, no, this is definitely third place. Still awesome. But this is the Interceptor from Mad Max.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that thing is, I think it's, hang on, I got it right here. It is the Pursuit Special. That's right. I think it's a 1973, hang on. 1973 Ford Falcon XB GT hardtop. So, and this thing is awesome. It's black. It's all tricked out. It's got a blower on it, and it's a muscle car on steroids.
Oh, man.
And I'm a huge fan of the Mad Max Road Warrior, Fury Road, Thunderdome, even though that was probably the weakest of the four. But the Pursuit Special, man. This is I want to read the. Oh yeah, so this is the description that I have it. So is a heavily modified Ford Falcon XB-GT. Built on a vehicle originally assembled stock at the Ford plant in November 1973. Maxwell Mad Max Rockatansky is offered the Black Pursuit Special as an incentive to stay on the force as their top pursuit man after he reveals his desire to resign. Although Max turns the offer down, he later uses the black car to exact revenge on an outlaw motorcycle gang who killed his wife and son. So, yeah. Love me the Pursuit Special.
Phenomenal.
That thing, it just looks mean. Mm-hmm. And that the Mad Max is it's not as action packed as you would expect, but at the end when he starts going after those guys, woo!
Oh yeah,
that last scene is savage. Mm-hmm. And then they show it again. The version that they show in Fury Road is awesome too, but it gets totally trashed, I think. But which was kind of made me cry a little bit. So third place for me on my podium is the Mad Max Interceptor.
It's it's funny. All of my honorable mentions are.
For movies?
Movies, yeah.
Okay.
Interesting enough. My third, I went practical again, but I downsized a little bit. Super practical. A 2020 Mercedes Sprinter 4x4 cargo van. Specifically, the 2500 high roof, 170-inch WB EXT. Fully decked out for camping and adventuring. I'm talking solar panels that can power all the internal switches, kitchenette, bed, like the bed with undercarriage storage. So, snowboards, all the things that I like to do. And then a roof rack that converts into a patio, so you can sit up there on top of your car at the end of a night out in the desert or wherever you are. This is a more intimate version of my last pick. So, obviously, like Sprinter vans and like converted camper vans are very popular right now. But for the longest time, like my family has always been camping. We've been big campers. My parents have a little pop-up trailer like that you pull behind. And when I saw a camper van for the first time, I was like, that is a much more cool
That's the way to do it.
Because you can take it anywhere.
Right.
And Mercedes got away from it for a little bit, but I think it's back in 2020, but they have the full 4x4 cargo van, like four-wheel drive. Awesome. Specifically, I wanted the steel blue because I got to see someone who had a version of that, but an earlier year, and then that blue just looks really good.
Okay.
And it's just like, you can just it's like basically set to go, and you can just hop in that thing and go. You're like, I get these, and I've had to find other ways to like satisfy that, but sometimes I love driving, and I get that urge just to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like hop in the car and just drive. Go out to the woods, go out to nature, go out to the desert, whatever it may be, camp, kind of separate yourself from the rat race a little bit. And with that's like the perfect car to do that. It's not big enough where it's like you have to worry about where you're going to park it. It's small enough, but accessible enough where like me and Tiff could just hop in and go and, disappear, go camping in Big Sur or something like that. And it's also practical enough to where, like, if we decide to go on a camping trip with friends, we got all the bells and whistles that it can actually be kind of a fun car to, like, bring accessories.
I could see this thing in the infield of like a NASCAR race.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah, totally.
If you ever want to see some good RVs, go to the infield like the Daytona 500. Woo, they've got some setups in there. And then you have the people who like have converted a school bus.
Oh, yeah. Raise hail, praise Dale.
So I feel like we have gotten a good insight as to the maturity level as the two of us, between the two of us as far as our car choices here. I'm like, I want that one from the movie, Dad. And you're like, I want to get this one that's practical and I can take my family everywhere.
Well, I feel like you've got that, like, the youthful vibrance reinstilled in you from Max being born.
That's got to be what it is. Actually, I'm just a giant kid who probably wanted these forever. Okay, so yours is the Sprinter van, right? Okay.
Yep.
So now we're at number 2. So number 2 for me is another classic car from a movie that I grew up with. 3 installments of this thing. It is the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah.
And and it's funny because the guy who wrote Ready Player One, Ernest Cline, actually has one that's made to look like the one Marty McFly drove. So it's got the out-of-time license plate on it and everything, and he drives it around, and that's, I guess, what he got with his book deal. So if I ever had a ton of money and there was a DeLorean sitting around, I'd be like, yeah, I want to make that into the Marty McFly time machine.
Yeah.
And it was funny because that movie came out when I was 10, 1985? No, 11. And it was the first time, like you had with your Spirit of the Games. It was the first time I was like, that's a cool looking car, and it's got the doors that, the wing doors and the stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's really neat. And I didn't know why. I didn't know the history of John DeLorean and everything that happened with there, and so I would always ask my parents, like, dude, that's a cool car. Let's get a DeLorean? They don't make them anymore, son, and we can't afford it. It's like, well, why not? That car it's just iconic. Like, you can't see a DeLorean now without thinking of the time machine from Back to the Future. And I read someplace, I thought they were going to remake them. Or they were going to put out someone was going to put out a special edition of the old DeLoreans.
Oh,
I don't know if that's true. It's probably not, but for some reason that's in my head. But I would love to just drive around, picking up groceries, running errands in my DeLorean time machine.
Yep.
Set the dates to wherever I wanted to go, have the flux capacitor fluxing, and yeah, man. And I'd even put the Mr. Fusion on the back.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Out of a DeLorean?
Oh.
Yeah.
Great quote.
What was it? Something about the chassis makes it perfect I don't know. But yeah, I love that car for some reason. And you know what's funny is that now if you just showed it to me without all the extra stuff on it, I'd be like, not really. But then once you put the jets on the back and the whole thing and trick it all out with the stuff, I'm like, yeah, that's it.
How does Doc Brown reply? He's like, the way I see it, if you're going to build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?
Yeah. Exactly. So, yes, the DeLorean from Back to the Future is my number 2.
That's a great one. All right. So, my number 2, I told you, was coming in hot as we spoke.
Got a live update.
I needed some extra details. I'm going to cheat a little bit. It's actually a 2-for-1.
Okay, that's
and,
fine.
And I'll explain to you why. The first one is a Mercedes SL 500 convertible in like the like cherry, like or candy apple red. And I'll explain in a second. The other would be a 1960s Chevy Chevelle with a diamond tuck and roll interior lowrider.
Ooh, okay.
And the reason why, these are both of my parents' dream cars.
Oh,
So
that's
if I
cool.
could get my hands on them-
I will accept that. The
If
rules
I-
committee says that's okay.
Yes, if I could get my hands on those, I would get them, receive them, and then pass them along, because ever since I was little, it was a question I'd always ask my parents, like, what's your dream car? What's your dream car? Because, like, you know, as I start to be aware of it. And my mom was always, I remember the Mercedes SL 500, because I remember we saw one that was like, she was like, I would take that in a heartbeat. And I remember my dad always talking, and I couldn't remember if it was an Impala or not, but he had a 1960 Chevy. Crazy story. That got wrecked by one of his buddies. My grandma and grandpa got a car, a 60s Chevy, from this random stranger.
Oh, wow.
They're in New Mexico, you know, small podunk town, New Mexico. Guy shows up. God's calling me to the wilderness. I don't need this anymore. Hands over the keys. Gives him a car. Never saw him again. Just walked off into the sunset.
No, like registration or anything. Just see you guys later.
Here, I don't need this anymore.
Okay.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
It was. It wasn't the 70s yet. It was still the 60s, but
Well, there you
close
go
enough.
then.
Yeah. And I was born in '56. It was probably mid 60s, but
Yeah.
yes, sure enough, just nope. I don't want it.
Dang.
I don't need these material possessions anymore.
Okay. I'll gladly take them off your hands, sir. Thank you very much.
I got 3 initials for you: LSD.
Yeah.
So
Hey, man, you know, drugs are a hell of a thing. You know?
you know,
Wind up with the free cars is the result of them. You know, someone's winning, I guess.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Okay, well, I will. That's a good 2-for-1. I
Yep.
think that's very altruistic of you to be thinking of your parents in this segment. So, my number one. So now we're at the top, and you've alluded to this type of car. It was the first car you alluded to, but my number one is the Eleanor from Gone in 60
yes.
Seconds.
Yes.
That car is, it's awesome. And my brother, God bless his soul, got a hold of, pulled a 68 Shelby Fastback out of like a junkyard and then slapped it on like a 67 chassis and was working on this thing by himself. I think at first he was in Washington and then he was in Baltimore when he moved to China, then he moved to Baltimore and he had it just in storage. And when he moved to China, I was at the time moving back to California and I said, yeah, man, I'll send it down to me. I'll take care of it. I'll try to get it going.
Yeah.
So he shipped it to me. I worked on it. It was a total money pit, but it was a blast to work on. And he even had like the body kit that you would get to turn it into that car.
Yeah.
But it was so fun working on that thing. And just, I didn't know, I'm not a gearhead. I don't know a ton about it, but old cars are so cool because they're so simple to take apart. There's no molded plastic. There's screws and metal and it's really easy to slap stuff on. And there were a couple Mustang stores where I lived at the time in Sacramento that I could go to and I could get different accessories and stuff and put them on there. And I got it looking pretty nice on the inside, cleaned some things up. Found a friend of mine who he and his son worked on cars and had restored one of his sons. And we worked on the engine and we got it going. Still had a ton of problems, but eventually I gave it back to my brother. He still has it.
I remember when you
Yeah,
had
I
it.
still has it. He still has the body kit. And I'm like, maybe one day we can get that thing going because we got it running.
Yeah.
And it sounded really mean. But again, there were a ton of things that needed to be fixed. But that car, man, you watch it in the movie and just the way like the interior looks and the wooden steering wheel. I think they have like the silver, and I had the silver dash. I bought that and installed that myself. It's just one of those. It looks like no other car you're going to see. And what I love about it, it's sort of a combination between old classic American muscle and modern sort of sleekness.
Yeah.
And that's rare. And I love that car. So if I ever was able to get one dream car, people said, what, if you could drive any car, what would it be? And that's always the one I choose. So
Yep.
yeah, that was from the 2000 movie Gone in 60 Seconds. I saw that movie. That car made the movie for me. Just watching him drive that thing around. Oh man, that is a good looking vehicle. That's when you say when you know it's better than a car. It's a vehicle.
Oh my gosh.
Vehicle.
Like, And the whole storyline with that in that movie is just phenomenal.
Yeah. So that's my number one, Eleanor.
Hey, love it. Love it. I had a suspicion of that one because it's been brought up before.
Yes, it has.
So my number one is, and this is basically going to update to whatever year it is. It is the 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. This one,
I haven't heard of this.
with the Hennessy Performance HPE 1000 supercharged upgrade. So
Wow, that sounds like a military grade weapon right there.
it kind of is. It used to be in this spot used to be the Jeep SRT8. I think they had the Hellcat version of it too. But I'm just going to read the specs for you. And this Trackhawk HPE supercharged upgrade is available for the last 3 versions of it. 1,012 horsepower at 6,500 RPM. 969 pounds per foot torque at 4,200 RPM. 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. Quarter mile in 10.2 at 133 miles per hour.
That's like a rocket.
Yeah. I mean, I can go through all the crazy additional upgrades, but the SRT8, I remember, was one of the first cars that, the street legal cars that could go from 0 to 60, and I want to say like under 3 seconds or under 4 seconds, wet or dry, gravel, whatever. It was just nasty. And it may not beat a bunch of the sports cars like on a track, but in a straight line, it will just dust people. And to me, the best part about it is you look at it and you're like, that's a Jeep Grand Cherokee with a nice wheel set. And you're like, nope.
Looks nice. I'm looking it up right now.
You're like, nope, it's a grocery getter on steroids. You're like, it's like if you put, I don't know, if you put the Flash's speed in, I don't know,
the Hulk's body.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, even.
I know I'm crossing universes, nerds. Don't at me here.
Yeah, don't at me here. Yeah. But yeah, it is. I just love the fact that it touches into both worlds. It's an SUV. You can fit your kids and your groceries in it, but it'll beat sports cars in a straight line.
It's like the Matt Fraser of vehicles, I would say. It can do anything.
Yeah.
If you need it for lift some heavy weights, it can do that.
It's 2016 Matt Fraser when he won the sprint.
That's exactly right. That's
good.
good. Yeah.
It is we're going to bring it all the way back to it is the 2016 Matt Fraser when he blew everybody away in the sprint, and you're just like, how is this possible?
Yep.
And just like, it's an amazing car, and I've ridden in the SRT8, like older versions, or kind of like I guess led to this, and they're just amazing cars. And my first like real, so I had that Grand Am, and my parents, we kind of like rotate. We always had like this rotating car system. So like if I took this car this one day, my parents, when I was first learning how to drive, we had a Geo Metro, which is the little egg car.
Yeah.
We had the Pontiac Grand Am, and we had a Jeep Grand Cherokee. And on the good days, I got to get the Jeep Grand Cherokee. That was like going to dances and stuff like that.
Had people to impress.
Or like, went on a date or something like that. And so when eventually we got rid of the Geo, got rid of I don't even think they make those anymore. Got rid of the Grand Am, and my parents got a new SUV, and my dad got a pickup truck. When I moved out to college, the Jeep Grand Cherokee became mine, and I loved that car. It was like my favorite car ever. I mean, that thing ran forever. There was just like, as long as you make sure the transmission doesn't blow, 200, almost 300,000 miles on it. And I had a buddy that had a Jeep Cherokee with 500,000 miles on, and it was just, I loved that car. I felt like I could take it anywhere. It wasn't like too in your face. It was just like, and ever since, like, the Jeep Grand Cherokees have had a special place in my heart. And I'm like, I know at some point I'm going to own another one. I love my Subaru Crosstrek. Don't get me wrong; it's like one of my favorite cars now. But I know I'm going to come back to that car at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we went I like that. We went two totally different directions with that. Like,
got a nice wide
You
swath
chose
here.
Cars that you might actually one day own. I chose cars that there's no way I'm ever going to have.
I don't know about some of those ones. The Winnebago might be a little. That's a house. I'd rather have a house.
Yeah, it's true. Were there any that you were thinking about, but just didn't make the cut?
So the only non-fantasy one was the Tesla Model X.
Ooh, that's a good one.
which
Okay.
is I've ridden in those a few times and I really like it. To me it's like the obviously being electric, being eco-conscious and all the bells and whistles that it has. We got to ride in one back in Indiana, and it's just like a cool car. The Ectomobile.
I was going to pick the Ectomobile. Ecto 1, yeah, that was one of mine.
The Tumbler Batmobile was on my list. 2 of the James Bond cars.
Yeah, I almost was it Casino Royale? Was it the Aston Martin?
Aston Martin,
Ooh.
yeah. One of the older ones, the Aston Martin DB5 was sick. The Lotus Spirit S1 was awesome.
Is that the one that went underwater?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
all right.
and did you hear they found it in a warehouse?
I did. I remember that story. Yeah, they some dude had it.
Got it in I think they got it in a Storage Wars type situation or something. And then Kit from Knight Rider.
That was another one of mine. And then I also thought the A-Team van.
Oh yeah,
that would be cool. And then another one I thought of. It never really had a serious shot of making it, but it almost did. That's top 10. Was the with the Torino from Starsky and Hutch.
Oh yeah.
Is Siri talking to me? Shut up, Siri. I didn't. That was weird.
Yeah.
The Torino, the red one with the white stripe.
Yep. That's a great car.
That's what else? Oh, the EM50 urban assault vehicle from Stripes.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's basically a Winnebago with a bunch of weapons on it.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So yeah, those were and then that Knight Rider was on there. And then another one that almost made it was the black Firebird from that Burt Reynolds drove in Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a great one too. I mean, you could. There's so many. You could make a list of just the James Bond cars, just the Batmobiles, a couple of those. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we're missing. Someone always brings up one that I'm like, oh my gosh,
I know, how did I miss that?
Trying to think of all famous.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. I know I'm thinking of 80s TV shows. So we got the A-Team, we got Knight Rider.
Herbie the Love Bug.
Herbie the Love Bug would be good. That would be a good one. Yeah. Old Ocho.
Yep.
Let's see.
Volkswagen Scirocco.
Maybe the family truckster from Vacation.
Oh yeah.
You think you hate it now? Wait till you drive it, Tommy.
I read a review about the Hellcat, or about the about the Hellcat and the Trackhawk. Actually, that was hilarious. Actually, let me find it. Car and Driver. It mentioned Family Vacation. It says the 2020. Oh, for the new one that came out, 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk standard without the upgrade is 707 horsepower. So Trackhawk is an expletive-inducing thrill ride that would have gotten Clark Griswold and family to Wally World a lot sooner, while still doubling Sparky's swears. Yep.
Well, that's good. All right. Well, that'll do it for this edition. That was fun. I enjoyed that. Let us know what your podium picks are for your dream cars. And yeah, like Tommy said, I'm sure that you guys are definitely going to have some that we're going to be kicking ourselves that we didn't think of. So looking forward to reading those comments. So that's it for us. For Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. Thanks so much for listening. Hope you had a good time, and we'll talk to you soon.